Okay, 10:30, let's make a start. Agenda item 1, apologies. Les Shaw, as you know, his wife is not well at the moment, so he's had to go to hospital with her, so he sent his apologies. I think it was at short notice, so he's not had a chance to arrange for his deputy to be here. So we can record his apologies, please. Minutes of the meeting of the 12th December, can they be approved as a correct record? Okay, thank you. Chair's announcements. There aren't any this morning, except to welcome all the massed ranks of the media here, who we do love tremendously, if that helps in getting some good coverage. It's worth a shot, I thought. Urgent items, there aren't any. Members' declaration of interest to remind colleagues to make a declaration both verbally and in writing, if you need to do so. So that takes us on to the first key decision report, agenda item 6, adoption of the Wakefield District Residential Design Guide. Denise.
Yeah, this is a long-awaited paper, really. We haven't reviewed the design guide for a long time, number of years, and we've had representations from developers, architects, planners across the district, all asking when we were going to update that, and the standard really needed upgrading and updating. So this is what this paper is all about. We've worked with the private sector on this, and I think you'll see it's really comprehensive design guide. It sets out what we want to do across the district for the future. And I move the paper.
Any questions, comments? No? Nothing whatsoever?
Well, you could all say it's great.
It's fabulous, it's brilliant. It's the best design guide I've ever seen in my life.
Well written. Well written, yeah.
No, I don't think I was here last time it was updated.
Okay,
no, you were still at school.
I'd like to congratulate whoever it is that puts the staples in.
That's certainly easy to do.
Just to remind colleagues, you are being videoed. This is going out live. Just to say, I'll make a comment. I don't know if any of you saw the article in the media yesterday, actually on this subject about design, but if you saw it, you will. Sorry? About the size of property, about the increasing number of people who are buying new houses and they're finding, as soon as they move in, design faults, and it's actually an increasing problem. I know where I live, I've got some constituents who are in touch with me and have been for some time about a new development there where they're experiencing problems. So presumably this design guide is going to look at some of those issues that people are telling us about.
I think it will, but it is more about the standard of design. I've been dealing with in my ward a number of massive house building going on in Castleford, and one state in particular, there's been a number of teething problems. Houses are going up probably too fast, and technicalities are not dealt with, and I think, again, that needs dealing with.
Okay, as long as we at least are looking at the issue.
Yeah, we are.
On behalf of constituents. Okay, agenda item 7, relocation and refurbishment of Ossett Library. It's not Denise Jeffrey, by the way, it's Jackie. Thank you, Jackie. Yes, Murray.
Yeah, just a couple of questions for clarification, really, Jackie. Can we just go back to option 3? Refurbishment, I think you said 425,000, but the first floor is inaccessible for those who are disabled. Has anyone looked at the possibility of putting a lift in there to get people to the first floor? That's my first question. And my second question would be, if the option 1 is agreed today, what would happen to the old library building?
Yeah, we could potentially put in a lift, which would increase the cost. Even if we did that, the ground floor is still on 3 levels, which is accessible to most people, but not people who've got limited mobility. So the cost would escalate further. And what would happen to the building, that would go for disposal, I'm afraid.
Okay. Thank you.
But hopefully, we would hope that someone would buy it and develop it.
Thank you.
But I can't say what.
Matthew?
Thank you, Leader. Just basically, Jackie, I do support what you're putting forward here today at Cabinet. People do come to me sometimes, do we need libraries anymore? Yes, we do. It's not just about books and lending things. It's the arts and soul of the communities. It's where people gather, it's where people socialise as well. So I congratulate you for what you're doing. I fully support it, Jackie. Thank you.
Have we consulted with local members?
Yes, we have consulted local members.
And
Local members, I understand, are happy with the proposal. What they like is the fact that it will also bring Ossett Town Hall into more use, because there is a danger of that being underoccupied. So I don't think we should look at it.
okay. Can we agree then? The option put forward by Jackie?
Yeah,
Thank you.
agreed.
Thank you, colleagues. Okay, agenda item 8 is a really important agenda item this morning. The new strategic housing enforcement policy. Denise.
Yeah, as the leader said, it is an important policy. It is an important way forward. More and more, our strategic housing department is inundated with problems, concerns, worries, real serious issues that people are having to deal with because of poor landlords. We have some great landlords in the district, and we do have schemes working with them, and we've had workshops where they've come along and signed up for our Good Landlord programme. But we have an awful lot of the others who are just letting anything happen, and this is all leading to real poor health for people in our community who have got to go to the rented private sector. We're not building houses anymore ourselves. WDH are struggling, so people are turning to the private sector, and houses and flats and apartments are just not up to standards. The kitchens and bathrooms are, in some states, are in an appalling situation. So what we're trying to do is bring out a new enforcement policy and civil penalties so that we can fine landlords and really get people moving on this. It's a really emotive issue, but it's something that's so serious. I think all of us around the table will have got people coming to our surgeries who are absolutely in despair. I had somebody over Christmas who was having to live upstairs in a house because it wasn't fit for purpose downstairs. And over Christmas it was difficult to get anyone to do anything. But we managed to do it through our strategic housing people who turned out and got something sorted out. But these are problems now that are happening every day. So I urge people to support this paper. It's the recommendations are set out in 3.1. I'm sure a lot of you might want to say something, but this is really important that we move forward and make a stand here that we're not going to put up with it any longer, and we're going to take strong action.
Yeah, I know this is something that is close to Olivia's heart and has campaigned about for a while. Olivia.
Yes, indeed. I mean, it relates back to the previous paper as well, doesn't it, about the whole debate around housing, about having decent homes for people, having the right size, having them affordable. And what's happening at the moment, as Denise has referred to, is, particularly in my ward, but I know throughout the district, my ward is referred to in this paper, is that we've got houses that owners have decided they can't manage anymore because they've
just to pick up on that, Olivia, in respect of one comment you've made, that it's my intention, if colleagues agree, to put an item on the council agenda in the next 2 or 3 months about housing, homelessness and all these issues. So we can have a full debate about it. So all of us will be able to make comments there, but that's my intention.
I think that would be very welcome. Obviously, Wakefield isn't quite as bad as other parts of the district, but nevertheless, we are actually seeing homelessness. We're seeing people moving into accommodation that's totally unsuitable, into temporary accommodation. And as I've said, the housing in my ward leaves a lot to be desired in places, and it's really worrying.
Thank you. Anybody else? Matt? Then Pat.
Matt first.
Yeah, Matt first, then Pat.
Denise, completely welcome this report. We all have areas in our wards where we've got people, sometimes the most vulnerable people in society living in these properties that are just not simply fit for purpose. I welcome this. We'll see how it goes, and I hope he'll have the teeth to fetch landlords to make sure these properties actually are fit for people to live in this 21st century.
Yeah, just I welcome the report. I mean, you know, it looks at the health and well-being of people, and I've dealt with quite a number of cases of dampness, and the children that are affected by it, you know, have breathing problems, and that causes another problem with the health service as well, because we're seeing more and more people come, you know, with breathing problems to A&E services, you know, which is putting pressure on the hospitals as well. So I really do welcome this. Thank you.
Maureen?
Yeah, I too welcome the report. We're actually creaking at the seams as far as homelessness is concerned. We have the no second night out policy, which I believe we're still okay with, but we are creaking at the seams with that. The question I want to ask here is this all landlords or just responsible landlords? Because we've got responsible landlords and rogue landlords. Does this apply to all of them?
All of them, yeah.
I want to make a comment. A report is just a report. It's words on paper. And I accept entirely, and we need to make it clear, the majority of landlords that don't fall within the description that a lot of us have described today. But we need to make it abundantly clear. It's not just words on paper. We're going to enforce this. We're going to back it up with action. And if there are any landlords exploiting tenants and people who are vulnerable in different ways, we will be on their case. So I don't just want this to be words, I want it to be meaningful in terms of enforcement. So what might be helpful to focus colleagues' minds is if we have some kind of report maybe in 6 months' time to look at what we're being able to do and what action has been taken. What we don't want is to agree this and agree to take enforcement action and nothing happens. I mean, that's the worst thing you can do, is to raise expectations and not meet them. So really from me, just to kind of urge all of us, in particular officer colleagues, to make sure this is enforced. Okay, so subject to that, can we agree what's been recommended?
Yeah.
Thank you, colleagues.
Yeah.
Okay, Olivia, proposed site swap of the Priory Pupil Referral Unit and Springfield Pupil Referral Unit. Thanks.
I would say this, Lee, that sort of this seems quite a logical thing to do. We've got a continuous rise in the number of children that are either being excluded from school or need smaller accommodation and need specialist care. And so what we're suggesting is that there be a swap between the accommodation, which is smaller at the Priory, and that we actually we have facilities to extend. So we've got more room in one place than we have in the other. We've got a growing number of young people. So what we're saying is we want to swap the accommodation, build more classrooms, and just generally move the younger element to the smaller accommodation and the older element to the larger accommodation.
You agree? And now my phone's going off. It's the ringtone I've checked. Not a good choice. I should have asked people to turn the phones off, but There you go. Okay, thank you. So we're on non-key decision reports, and I've actually got one today. Financial health report, which I have to say is brilliant, obviously. Projected, is it £61,000 underspend on a budget of our size is not bad going, actually. So thank you to officer colleagues for making sure that we have delivered, hopefully, on the budget. And this is despite the fact we've got increasing pressures, in particular, on children's services. Projected overspend there of 2.2 million, but nonetheless, overall, I think the council has shown that it can manage its budget effectively, and thank you to officer colleagues and to cabinet members for doing that. And it would be remiss if I didn't mention the pressures on social care, and hopefully we will seek to address that as far as we can in terms of the upcoming budget for 18-19. Any questions or comments? I'll be happy to answer. No, if not, thank you, colleagues. And again, another important item on the agenda, final item, modern slavery and human trafficking. Pat.
And
It's actually
It's so important that Pat's not dealing with it, giving it to Maureen.
Yeah, modern slavery is a crime and an abuse of human rights. Every organisation with a turnover of £36 million per annum has a duty to publish a Transparency Statement Act under Section 54 of the Modern Slavery and Human Trafficking 2015 Act, and the Council fall within that legislation. The Council has a modern slavery and human trafficking action plan and a local strategic forum where relevant partners attend. The Council's procurement requirements ensure all suppliers publish their own transparency statement, and contracts are drawn up requiring compliance to modern slavery and human trafficking. The purpose of the report is to highlight what action the Council has taken over the last 12 months. And Cabinet are asked to approve the statement which is appended to the report at agenda page 243 and 244.
Any questions or comments?
I'd like to say really that I think some of us have watched programmes on the television about slavery in the past and seem to think that it's something that's gone by the way, and of course it's very prevalent at the moment, and what we see are particularly children and young people being used not only for sex but also for monitoring drugs farms and the like. And I think it's really worrying and frightening that in fact we don't realise the significance and importance of the things that are being that young people are being used for. And I really am concerned that we need to publicise it much more and make the public more aware of how dangerous it is in our community if it does exist.
Yeah, there was I came in this morning and I was reading the Metro magazine, and there was a case there that had gone to court only yesterday. So Olivia's right, it is more and more prevalent. So again, a report is a report is a report. We do need to try and make people aware of this as well, in a way that Olivia suggested. I know if you use the council lift, you've got some posters up there about you know, reporting any suspected abuse that you're aware of, and again, it may be that we need to kind of slightly change that. Mm-hmm.
We have some really good partnership working actually around slavery, and particularly the older adults, and I know that children and young people have their own policies, but we do quite a lot of work with police, trading standards, etc., going into the usual places, the car washes, etc., where people may be there just on £1 a day or whatever it is for accommodation. So we do, in fact, just before Christmas we did quite a good sting, which we found people being used in a facility above an off licence. So we do work proactively in actually trying to find out where these people are being abused, but you're quite right, it's all about publishing, it's all about Twitter, it's all about social media and what we are doing in Wakefield.
Okay, if there's nothing else, thank you colleagues, that concludes the agenda.
Thank you.
Just a minute while I drop the door.
Denise is now available for interviews.